Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel. Today we're going to be installing HSP's Airflow Upgrade Bundle on our 2021 Ford 6.7 Powerstroke. So powder-coated air intakes and intercooler pipes is one of the most popular part categories that we have at Thoroughbred Diesel right now. HSP is one of the staple manufacturers inside of that product line as well, and they do an excellent job with doing these airflow bundle upgrades that we've got for today's trucks. Now, with the HSP kit, we're going to link you inside of this video to our unboxing of this kit, where we talk about some of the more technical aspects of the actual product itself. But just to kind of give you a quick overview of it, this kit is going to replace your stock air intake and also both your hot side and your cold side intercooler pipes with the powder coated mandrel bent HSP upgraded piping tubes for these. The air intake is going to be an upgrade as well, where it's going to come with a lifetime filter that you just simply clean and put back on the truck, and then it's going to have a cover over the air intake box that's going to keep out the hot air, keep it away from the filter, so you're going to get cooler air. So, you know, right now with these trucks, I'm going to be honest with you, when you look underneath of the hood of one of these trucks, you got to appreciate it for what it's worth, because really it's kind of a work of art in itself in what they've managed to shoehorn under the hood of these trucks. But adding a little bit of bling underneath of the hood, a little bit of dress up for your engine, really kind of personalizes it to you, but also adds a lot of functionality and increased airflow, getting you a little bit better horsepower, a little bit better fuel economy, and all the good stuff that comes along with that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our installation. This product kit, again, we'll link you inside the video, talk about some of the technical aspects of the kit, but as we go through, we'll talk about the features of some of the parts as well. All right, so we're going to start with removing the stock air box air intake over here. So I already got our grounds isolated on the batteries because we're dealing with a couple of sensors today. I like to just take the pipe out and then remove the lid. Another part of this is the locking tab on the airflow sensor is on the back side of it. So I just take my lid off and then turn it over and get the locking tab oriented the way I want to. So 7 metrics, and we'll loosen everything up, and then we're going to pull this pipe out. Watch out for your coolant line here. So I'll dislodge it from the intake manifold, such as so. And I've got it loosened up the air intake box. I can just pop it out, work with it, and get it going. All right. Once I've done that, I will pull it clear and pop it right out. So our little air scoop has got to come out next. Now the air scoop is attached to the stock OE box, and it's actually going to be reused on the HSP air box. So once you get the push pin out, you just simply pull the air scoop out and get it out of your way, but keep it for later, because again, you are going to be reinstalling it. Then I just take the air lid off of the OE air box, and before I get too far ahead of myself, like I already have, I want to go ahead and pull the push pin out of the box. This is one of those wide Christmas trees, so it's usually pretty stable. Go ahead and get it dislodged, and when I take the box out, then I'm going to get my locking tab on the airflow sensor, so just pull straight up on it. So then you can turn it over. You got your locking tab right here for the air sensor. Go ahead and pull the tab down, and push and remove. All right, to get the air box out, first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and take the old filter out. And then to get the air box out, it's on a rubber, it's got a rubber isolator here in the bottom, and then there's a rubber isolator over here on the side. It pulls straight out of that. But before you do that, there's a 7 metric headed bolt right there down by the air scoop going towards the front. The air scoop going towards the front is horseshoe shaped, or on the front here, and it'll allow the box to come straight out without having to bring the air scoop out of the front, because they learned their lesson with the disaster that was the 6.0 air box. Thank you, whatever Ford engineers were involved in this change. I just loosen the bolt up, take a magnet, and pull the bolt out. Then you're ready to get the air box out of there. I like to rock the side first out, so I'll pull straight up on it, get it dislodged, and watch all of your clips, and then go ahead and rock the bottom out. And they're tight, so you're gonna have to pull on them just a little bit, and then you're gonna come straight up out of the box. Watch the wires, watch your coolant line, make sure you get all the crap out of there, and there's the box out. So this is the HSP air intake box, and just wanted to show you on fit and finish on this. So they have actually gone through all of the cutouts for your air scoop. Your upper air scoop is going to fit back into here. Then of course the HSP intake is going to go there. Lid's going to stop, but that's a really, really nice piece. You know, they did a good job on engineering on that. So, and it fits up and it fits well inside the box. Now when you put this box in here, make sure you watch out for the positive battery cable, because you don't want to make it ground here. So make sure the cover's on there. And when I put it down, there is a factory stud here. It's going to sit on that factory stud as a location, and then we're actually going to orient the horseshoe in the first rib of the scoop right here that I'm pointing to. So let's go ahead and put the box in. Again, we're going to watch out for that lug, that positive lug. All right, got that there. Then we're going to turn that back to that positive lug, and you can see fit and finish on that. It looks exactly like it's supposed to look. Okay, now we're going to put our hood scoop on for the front of the air box here. And before you put the scoop, before you try to attach it to the front, you can see that plastic is beveled there. So this actually will engage the box and lock into the box. So what I do is just go ahead and lock it in just like so. And then I get the scoop itself oriented to where, just like it was in stock location, with the rubber seals pointed the correct direction, like so. All right, and then I'll go ahead and put my push pin in. And the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm putting the scoop on my air box, is because this will help to hold the air box in place as you're working with it in our next steps. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove the stock mass airflow sensor from the air intake lid. This is a T20 to do this, and then you can go ahead and remove it. You don't need to keep the stock hardware, but you need to put it in your hoard pile, because you never know when you're going to need Torx 20s screws for a mass airflow sensor. And be very careful with it. It is an expensive little mass airflow sensor. The sensor itself has a directional arrow on it, and it will show you which way that it needs to be oriented. So you can see that little arrow. And then HSP oriented their pipe with their flow direction. And you just need a 3 metric Allen to remove the hardware that is supplied by HSP. And then we're going to put our mass airflow sensor in here. So you take a mass airflow sensor, this arrow matches up with that directional. Go ahead and install it. You use the new hardware that HSP supplies for you, and we'll just lightly snug it down, and then that will have our air pipe ready for the rest of our installation. Again, the most important thing here is don't over tighten it and crack the ears off of it or hurt it or anything of that nature. And then make sure that your directional arrow, that the sensor itself is facing the correct direction. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our air filter on our tube. And then what we're also going to do is we're also going to put our HSP coupler, which is the large elbow that's going to be in your kit. It's got HSP on it. We're going to orient that like that on the intake plenum here. So we're going to go ahead and hang both of our clamps off of this elbow. Be right back. I'm back. How's everybody doing? And we're going to go ahead and put our elbow on our intake as well. And this is just going to give us everything that's on the intake pipe itself ready to go. And then once we put it in the truck, we will start orienting everything as to how it goes. So the air filter actually sits, the rubber portion actually sits on the box itself. So again, watch for making connection with any of this metal stuff with a positive cable of a battery. We don't want that. That would be bad. So sit your air filter down into the box, making sure that it's resting on the rubber portion. And then we'll just go ahead and attach our coupler right here onto the intake plenum. So we'll have to work with that just a little bit. I'm going to make you look through that with me. There it is on the intake plenum. Okay, so we will adjust our clamps there. I've got my HSP turned the correct way. I wanted to see that, but then as you can see, our mass airflow sensor is about in the same position as it was before, but we're just going to get this oriented correctly and pushed in the couplers a good safe amount, and we are right there. So we're going to get everything oriented the way we want it, and we're going to get it tightened up, and then we'll come back and show you putting our lid on. All right, so I just wanted to show you orientation of these clamps. So I'm going to orient this clamp with the nut facing me here, but up here on the oval portion of the intake, you're going to have to put the bolt portion of our clamp, the T-bolt portion of our clamp on the top here, so that it's on a flat surface. You can't put it on the side because it's going to have to apply pressure there. So what we are also going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook in our mass airflow sensor wiring harness real quick. So we'll do that. And push our locking tab down. This has the orientation of our filter down, so we'll go ahead and get a nut driver and lock that down. So we're going to go ahead and tighten everything up here, and then we're going to put our lid on. Alrighty, so last step here for the air intake is to go ahead and put our lid on. And your lid, the form of the lid is going to go on the outside of the box here, and that's just going to hold our air intake in and just be another securing point through the box as well. You're going to want to make sure that you keep this wiring harness out of the way, and then inside of the bag where your clamps were for the air intake kit, you are going to find some plastic push pins, and those push pins have got a Phillips headed locking mechanism in the middle of them. So we will put the push pins in and tighten down the Phillips head middle portion of it, like so. Hold the bottom with your finger, tighten her down, and then we'll put our third one in here. Make sure they're loosened up enough before you put them in the box. And voila. Down in there, it'll hold the lid. Okay, and we'll buff it out with a little microfiber cloth, as my friend Adam would say. Clean it up so you can see the HSP goodness there. And there is our air intake on the box, or on the truck. And we're going to roll over to the intercooler pipes now. All right, so it's time to move on to our hot and cold side intercooler pipes on this 6.7 Powerstroke. Another thing about the engine bay, when you've got everything in here is pretty much black, and then you've got this one intercooler tube. It's got two blue boots on it, so it's kind of not very cohesive. So HSP is going to fix that for you and get everything back in the same color. So we're going to go ahead and do our hot side intercooler pipe. The hot side intercooler pipe is coming from the outlet portion of the turbo that is nestled under the intake plenum there. And this can come off in one piece. You can loosen up this clamp right here at the air to water, and then go back to the clamp at the turbocharger here, and I'm going to show you how to operate that. and the pipe would come out in one piece. For you all at home, it might be easier for you to just go ahead and separate the pipe from the boot that's at the turbo. That's what we're going to do, 7 metric here. We're just going to loosen everything up. We're going to go ahead and take the pipe out, leave the clamp, leave the boot on the charger, and we're going to show you how to remove that boot. Now, the boot that's at the charger's got a special style clamp, and it's got a position on the clamp that you can just basically move the clamp up, and that will the clamp will kind of go into a release mode, and it will stay there. Okay, that's what it's designed to do. But if the truck's been worked on a few times or whatnot, the plastic pockets that clamp rests in, it might not just fit in there, so you may have a little bit of problem getting it to stay. So I'm going to show you how to get that off. So what I do is we use our long pick here and just get it underneath of the clamp as such. And then when you go to remove the boot, you've got to pull straight, because if you don't pull straight, if you put it at any type of angle, it'll catch and the boot won't come off. So you can see how that works there. I'll show you outside the truck. So this clamp is designed to, when you put upward tension on it, and where we worked on this truck quite a bit, doesn't work good, but it's supposed to stay in that pocket right there when you put a little tension on it, and then that way you can just remove it from the truck. So good in theory, doesn't always work the best way there. So, but no problem, we got off the charger. So let's go build our HSP hot side pipe. All right, so here are your HSP parts that you're going to need to build the hot side pipe for this truck. So you want to use the 2 reinforced straight couplers that come in the kit, 4 clamps that are in the package as well. We're going to go with a different style clamp that HSP sends you in the kit that's going to work with their machined aluminum fitting that goes at the turbo, as well as HSP sends you a brand new O-ring for this fitting. And if you can see on the stock pipe, you can see inside of there's an O-ring. So HSP doesn't make you reuse that O-ring or anything like that. You get a new O-ring with the kit, and we will build this pipe to mimic the direction of the old pipe as well. So first thing that we're going to do before we put it back on the truck is we're just going to take the fitting that goes on the turbo, and we're going to lay our O-ring into the groove there. I'm going to show you that as soon as I get done with it. So we're going to lay our O-ring into the groove on this fitting. Okay, just like so. And then we're going to take that fitting, and we're going to go ahead and put our C-clip on here. So what I do is I just take it at the start of the C-clip, at the very apex of it or the very middle, and then I'll just walk one of the ears over, and then the other ear I'll walk it over as well, just like so. And then you push them down, they fall in like that. So this is quick connect. You can go ahead and push this right onto the turbo, and it'll be ready to go. So we're going to put just a little bit of lube on that O-ring, and we'll actually put that right on the turbo, and then we'll start assembling the rest of the pipe as it will go to the back to the air to water. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take all these parts, get everything lined up in the engine bay, go ahead and put everything together. All right, so what we found easiest to do on your hot side pipe is these reinforced coupling intercooler boots. I'm not gonna lie to you, this can be an absolute pain in your ass to try to install these, but they are a good quality product, so you just got to get through it. So what we found is the easiest way to install this is go ahead and put the coupler in that goes on the turbo side, and then put your pipe in both of your intercooler boots, and get your intercooler pipe as deep inside of the intercooler boots as you possibly can. It'll go to the reinforced ring right there. Same on both sides. The pipe orients into the truck like that, with HSP kind of looking at you. So now that you know all the specifics of it, easiest way we found, I leave the clamps completely off of it because I don't want them ringing around on our powder coat product. We removed the bolts that hold the dipstick here and just got that out of our way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start it on the air to water like so. And then just try to be conscious of where I'm at on the cab of the truck. And then just take the pipe, and if you just put it on air to water and then turn it a couple of times, it's going to come around and be right where you want it to be. So as you come around and the HSP starts to look at you there, you get it in position like so. You'll want to come back up here to the front, kind of pull it down into a nosedive like so, and you're going to be going for the turbo mouthpiece. Line it up as such, and then continue to rotate the pipe until it fits correctly, and then push it till it clips like that. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it can be a fight, but be very conscious of what you are doing. Watch the sensor for your low side fuel pressure here, and just make sure everything stays clear for you, and twist it to where you like it, and there you are. Okay, so we're going to go through, we're going to put our clamps on now, clamp everything down, and get ready for our cold side pipe. All right, next up to our cold side pipe. It comes out of our air to water and goes into the intake right here. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and get our wire clips out of the way on our temp sensor here. It's going to be at the front. We're going to go ahead and pop that out, and then go ahead and unhook the sensor, move it out of our way. Okay, and then what I do is I go ahead and get my clip off of the coupler itself. Try to get the wires to where they don't pop into our shot again. And I just start up here at the top on these types of clips, and I'll get one ear of it up and just start moving it back. Okay, and then I'll go to the other side and get the other ear, move it up, and start moving it back like so. And that's just a big 360-degree circle of a clamp, and once it's dislodged, you're good to go. All right, next, 7 metric on the clamp that's at the bottom down at the air to water. Hopefully the guys that were building on the day that your truck was built, they've turned the clamp correctly. They did on ours. Thank you, Mr. Whoever you are, wherever you are. We're gonna go ahead and loosen her up here. And this 21 truck has got the updated pipe on it, but now the earlier model trucks this was your pipe that we had so many problems with busting going down the road and making a big popping sound. People thought their whole truck had blown up and the world was over and all the things. But it didn't. It was just a ye old intercooler pipe. So we'll go ahead and move it off of the intake. Then go ahead and get it walking off of the air to water, and then pull everything out, and just be conscious of your vacuum lines and your coolant line there. Bring everything out in one shot, and there you go. Okay. All right, so we've got our cold side intercooler pipe out here, and you just want to lay your HSP parts out of the kit as to where they're going to line up. And again, just like your cold side pipe, we're going to assemble everything here, slap it on the truck, then we'll go back with clamps and whatnot. But from your stock pipe, HSP is going to give you a new O-ring and a new clip, so you don't have to reuse those, but you do have to take your air temperature sensor out of your stock pipe, and you take it out by just turning it one direction and then taking it out. I would suggest cleaning it off, and then you can reinsert it into the pipe. Goes into the port they have here. It's not directional, so it can go in either way, but go ahead and put your piping together before you put your sensor in. Make sure you get everything cleared. But yes, so you'll have your HSP machine coupler, your straight coupler, long portion of the pipe, short portion into the 90-degree elbow, long portion of the 90-degree elbow to short portion of the 90-degree elbow that will actually be at the air to water. And just like the other coupler, we're going to take this O-ring and we're going to seat it in the groove that HSP has machined inside of that coupler for us. Use a little bit of engine oil there and just lubricate that. And then, of course, our clip, our new clip that HSP sends for us, will go in here, and you can put that to where you have each one of the jaws, just kind of work it all the way around the pipe, like so. Let it fall in, and that's quick to connect, so you can put it on there any way you want to. So now we'll just go ahead and start putting everything together as we go through, and of course we'll get off of our nice table here, but on our couplers, go ahead and put that in, have HSP lined up with everything, and then next we're going to put our intercooler pipe in. Said we were going to get off this nice table, but I just can't help it. We're already going, so we're going to keep right on going. All right, one thing we did want to make mention of is there are two different size couplers depending on what year truck that you have. This being the 21, we have the smaller end 90-degree coupler. So they send you both in the kit, HSP does. They send you the larger end on both sides and the smaller one of the bigger end, and that is the one that we're going to need for this truck. Okay, and then we have our this is going into our intake as such, so we've got to turn this elbow the other direction, and like I said, long side of this, I like to put it at the pipe. So we will go ahead, you make sure that you get that straight on there as you go, because there's really no turning it after that. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and put this onto the pipe as best I can, and then we're going to go ahead and put this pipe into the truck before we put our temp sensor on there, just to keep it from breaking, and we'll show you that. So I'm going to adjust these couplers, and then we'll see you at the truck. Okay, very, very important to get everything lined up before you put it in the truck. You want it lined up as angled as best you can with the old coupler, and then you can kind of eyeball it, look at it. Okay, I need to get a little bit more, angle out of it, whatever. So I started on the bottom, let the air to water and get it on there as best I can, and then I'll go ahead and, just like we did at the turbo, line everything up there. And where that's got that O-ring in it, it's going to be difficult. So you just really have to work at that to get it right. So if you have to, you're going to get yourself a little bit of tolerance at this collar. So the angle that Adam and I are at, I really need to be where he is. He needs to be where I am. So we're going to cut away, and we're going to put this on the throttle body because I really need to be where he's standing, and then we'll come back in and show you clamp positioning. All right, so we got our cold side pipe on, and we went ahead and adjusted our clamps. Now, that's one of the things about this kit that you've got, because you don't have a formed piece here, so you've got a coupler here and you've got a coupler at the bottom, so you're going to be getting clamps. So these two clamps here, we just oriented those best we could. The two clamps at the bottom are going to be a little bit harder to get to. You want to make sure that you just get them to where you can reach them with a wrench at some point. Not real good light there, but trust me, they're there. So, I mean, this is a pretty straightforward install. It's remove pipes, put pipes on, but a really high quality product. I'm not going to lie to you, with the couplers that are with this kit, they are very thick. They are, they are several ply couplers. So they are not as pliable as a stock coupler like you've got. So it's going to take you some time. You're going to have a few curse words, but all in all, high quality stuff. I mean, if this is the intercooler boots that you want, this is the kind of under hood presentation that you want on a truck like this, to be able to open the hood and just have something that you look at and just you're just like, man, it really looks good. So, all right. So HSP high flow intercooler pipe and intake bundle. We'll probably have some TikTok videos or Instagram reels or something that we back this up with, and talking about ride along on the truck and what it sounds like and whatnot. So definitely a kit that we suggest, helps to clean up your engine bay. Just a really, really nice kit. So if you have a question about this, any other HSP products, just give us a call. We appreciate you watching, and a big shout out and thank you to HSP for sending us this kit for the truck and for our installation video here. So thanks for watching.